Good, acceptable, and perfect. Coming up next on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. I have my mug on a mug with this mug. Actually, I guess this is a travel mug. And I'm sitting at Panera, working from here this morning, and I decided this would be a good spot to do my podcast. So, good, acceptable, and perfect. We've been talking about 10 good reasons to read the Bible. And this is day number 5. Reading the Bible helps us renew our minds so we can know God's will. All of us need to have our minds renewed. You're not an exception. And we're going to go to our scripture today, and it's found in Romans chapter 12 and verses 1 and 2. Romans 12, 1 and 2. And it says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies, dedicating all of yourselves, setting yourself apart as a living sacrifice, holy and well-pleasing to God, which is your rational, logical, and intelligent act of worship." Now, it's interesting because we don't usually hear worship described as holy and well-pleasing and rational and logical and intelligent. A lot of people just want us to lose our minds during worship and kind of park your mind and just get into the emotion. And he said, no, this is an act of worship that's important, that you present your bodies as an act of worship to God. And then it tells us how in verse 2. It says, "Do not be conformed to this world." And we know that verse well, don't we? But how do we do it? "Do not be conformed to this world any longer with its superficial values and its customs, but be transformed and progressively changed." Now, there's a progress in our faith. There's a progression that happens as we get to know God better and as we get to know His Word better. So, progressively changed and transformed as you mature spiritually by the renewing of your mind. In other words, focusing on godly values and ethical attitudes, focusing on it, so that you may prove for yourself what is the will of God, that which is good, acceptable, and perfect in His plan and His purpose for you. Great reason to read the Bible, because those are things we don't automatically know. And as we begin to read the Word, we begin to renew our minds so that we can know God's will. And how do we know it? And what kind of will? His good, acceptable, and perfect will. His plan, His purpose for you. And I get so much mail. How do you find God's plan? How do you find God's purpose for you personally? This is the best place to start, because as I read the Word, as I glean it, as I learn it, as I set my path with it, I begin to find what God's will is for me. And you will too. Well, folks, don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.